Hey, so wanted to throw together a quick video here about this exact topic that I just encountered in a meme here on the r/anti-consumption subreddit, which is pretty dang cool. Should check it out. Um, and it's in regards to the recent, um, I believe it's like Stop Oil. I can't even remember the name of the protest, but Um, it caused a big hullabaloo, and I myself have seen several like pretty prominent leftist pages even calling it a psyop, that it's not even legitimate praxis, where they had two activists go and smear soup on a museum painting, which I believe was confirmed to be behind glass, but who knows. And it drew lots and lots of attention and criticism from liberals, leftists, rightists, every across the board. Just people spouting their opinion not informed by dialectical and historical materialism. So it was just a fucking time. So if my take matters, my take is that hey, any praxis that gets people looking at the issue and talking about it is good praxis, because now some people are at least, you know, going to have that in their consciousness. Maybe some will be curious enough to check it out. Because the thing that got me into, anti consumption and, across the board ways to help our communities in light of the current status quo was environmentalism. That was about 50% of it, and the other was learning about Fred Hampton and how the people involved with his murder were went on to have lengthy careers in law enforcement. So I was like, something's not right there. Let's read a little bit more, and here we are. So, um, yeah, the meme goes: environmentalists in Europe, and it's like we smeared this museum painting to draw the world's attention to global warming. Which, by the way, I will also say I saw that same group recently blocked a road that is used by oil tankers and whatnot. So yeah, good praxis. They seem to be about their shit. I don't know what psyop would be doing something like that. So I don't know. Maybe they're playing 4D chess and they're one step ahead, but it seems like a legitimate effort to me. And then the other one said environmentalists in Latin America, another day resisting death threats, organized crime, the police, the government, and Canadian mining companies. Which, by the way, if that's not something you're familiar with, please do check it out. I've noticed a good amount of liberals I speak with don't really know much about the Canadian mining companies and their global impact. Uh, and the sheer ruthlessness of the extractive industry that they perpetuate and the whole thing. Anyway, um, but yeah, Canadian mining companies just because we were protecting our forests, which fantastic point. I believe in 2020, a lot of the Amazon, and I'm sure since then, since Bolsonaro, have has been sacrificed effectively for farmland. The beef farmers would go in there and raise it, even though they were not allowed to do that. And the government kind of just let it happen, it seems. Anywho, so yeah, many indigenous people and journalists have been slaughtered protecting the Amazon, not always government authorities. And then OP mentions a few names: Dorothy Slang, Chico Mendez, Bruno Pereira, Dom Phillips, famous ones are there. Um, yeah. Uh, So the point being, I wasn't even thinking about these indigenous people that were effectively murdered for their cause of just trying to make sure the rest of us don't like actually get run into the ground by institutions that are unaccountable to us and, not exactly democratically elected by us nor representing us. Kind of not a good thing to have happen. So so these people that gave their lives effectively for that cause to prevent the current status quo that is still perpetuating crap like um, this. Anyway, uh, somewhere they were talking about, yeah, Mexico, 54 environmentalists murdered last year. And here it is. They mentioned, nope. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. This one, where they mentioned Win Bruce, how in April earlier he set himself on fire in the steps of the Supreme Court, and it made the news for like I think a week. I don't remember seeing anything about it after that. So, it raises a good point. Some material analysis here. We see, citable evidence where if you do something as drastic as self-immolate on the steps of the Supreme Court, it will make less of an impact, paradoxically, than just smearing soup on a painting. That's that's the thing we have to consider with our praxis and activism is that we live in an age of liberal brain rot, and we have to find this sweet spot, it seems, where they get angry enough to pay attention but not so overwhelmed that they just continue sticking their heads in the sand, like topics like self-immolation, like real drastic kind of things. So there seems to be like a little window where you can actually, get to liberals. And I use that term broadly. I'm talking about pretty much Western, air quotes, left and right of the political spectrum in the West. They all support a neoliberal capitalist status quo, so I lump them all together and call them god-darn liberals. Even if you're a technically conservative in the US, the material result of such a party is a stronger government, which is going to mean a stronger 1% effectively, which is the same as the daggone Democrats, so fuck it. It's all the same shit. So yeah, that's basically the soapbox I wanted to go off on that regard because I literally it was like a shit show seeing the discussion that occurred from this, and that's something that frequently can happen in disorganized movements like the Western left. It's certainly something we should be wary of and combat at pretty much every instance. Have grounded material analysis because like I was saying, like we have all these like real serious like people are losing their lives, and in the grand scheme of things, like that's way more a significant occurrence. Yet it doesn't garner the attention that stuff like this garners. Which on another note, how I mentioned the same group that did this was blocking a street, and I didn't see anyone besides like actual independent journalists covering that. I haven't seen it on any mainstream news. Maybe I'm just under a rock and I haven't seen it yet. But I try to keep a finger on the pulse with that kind of thing and compare. It's helpful to compare what mainstream news is covering and not covering compared to like little independent folk. But yeah, that's that. Thanks for checking it out, and y'all take care.